Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. It's time. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. All right, today we're at the 29th. So we have a sun sign and a moon sign both in Scorpio. Okay, sun and the moon. And actually, no, this is Virgo. My mistake. So no, it's not. This is Scorpio. Okay, sorry. Rough start to the day. Scorpio. Okay, so we have moon and sun in Scorpio. What we've got here is we got a trine coming down here later between the moon and this one right here, which would be Pluto. And right down, yes, Pluto is the main one. We're just looking for triangles or squares. So the moon sign, which is in Virgo, an earth sign, practicality, how we're going to use and make practical use of the energy that's around us. Okay, we have water for the earth, the sun sign, and the moon sign is earth. So water and earth can work together nicely. An island can float on the water, or it can sink. The water can overcome the earth, make it into mud, so on and so forth. So it's important that as we get down here, we take a good look at the transformation that's occurring with us. This card, the Virgo, also relates to the card of the Hermit, which is the inner teacher who is patient and then eventually evolves to shine the light for others to see. So that is part of that transformational aspect that takes place as well. Current moon phase is 26% of the way full, making its way down to a new moon again. You tell because it's a waning moon. Waxing means going up, waning means going down. We're at a 12-tone day on the Mayan Oracle. 12-tone, storm is the kin, guide is the monkey. So today would be the crystal storm guided by the monkey. The phrase is, I dedicate in order to catalyze universalizing energy. Seal the message of self-generation with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of magic. Over at spaceweather.com, our solar wind is currently at 331.2 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is at a 3. So you've got some activity, more than likely from these X-flares that were coming out of the sun the last couple days. Nothing major coronal hole-wise. Our M-class flare possibility is up to 75% chance we're going to get another one. X-class 30 and geomagnetic storm activity, well, it's relatively low despite the possibilities for flares. Now we go over to suspicious observers for the report today.
Good morning, folks. The screen is currently blank, like last night's update. For those who don't know what Fly on the Wall is, every week I get on Skype with members of our community and discuss the top stories and topics. We deliver opinions and give more detailed explanations than can be given in these short news. The audio is uploaded to our website weekly, and it is just the audio. Back to the news. We see 3 nebulae recently photographed by Spitzer, including the Ghost Jupiter Nebula in the middle. There will be a solar eclipse on November 3rd that almost nobody who watches this channel will see. Southern Europe and Northeast Brazil have a good shot, but this is mostly an African visual this round. Coming back to the Australian bushfires, NASA's Earth Observatory showing advanced satellite views from above, including the burn scar where it's been. University of California putting out a solid article on the delicacy of our oceanic chemistry. Turns out, it takes a lot less than previously thought to cause mass extinctions. Climate.gov, currently down when I checked, I'm not really going to complain, as it's my least favorite official climate site. So much so, it's the focus of episode 1 of a multi-part series that will ramp up this winter. Climate. With a lie in the middle. If you've seen the first expose of our keeper's dishonesty, you know why I've named it as such. We're going to fully explain each point of the climate lies one by one. Speaking of false info, people refuse to stop faking Bruce Gary's work. Before, it was somebody adding UFOs to his pictures with Photoshop. Now somebody is blatantly making up quotes, and the Huffington Post bought it. Enough to make you shake your head. Hey Bruce, want to be on Fly on the Wall? Set the story straight? Same invite goes to Dennis and Tom. Well, we had our first southern storm of the season, but he checked his calendar and remedied his false start. Meanwhile, the West Pacific is picking up again, with the development appearing to be headed at the Philippines. Hurricane Raymond is a bit of a mystery out in the East Pacific. The models have absolutely zero agreement about the eventual path of him. But the moisture is unquestionably getting sucked up over Mexico and into the American Southwest, where it's going to meet up with moisture spun down from the northern Pacific and Canada overtop the Rockies. The convergence of air masses is all out west, as the strongest meeting near Texas will see the thunderstorms. Snow will continue in the mountains and up into Canada. The severe weather has spread across the European continent as the lows move on. We also definitively have a back-end low to the system, likely to cause more issues as it crests next. The deaths have spread to the Netherlands and some other nations. Debris-related power outages force shutdowns of the Dungeness reactors. Meanwhile, the same story of rain further north than it hit most of the southern winter. The system will quickly head east across the water to New Zealand. ACE solar wind telemetry showing another pitiful interplanetary shock. The speed and density showing in the CME likely won't cause any storms unless they really ramp up some more today. Still got the high energy protons at minimal elevation. We are in a brief downtick, but the flaring and flaring potential are still afoot. The departing spots can still fire, but are unlikely to be geo-effective if they pop CMEs. The incoming sunspots are showing both solid umbral size and magnetic complexity. We're looking for the meeting of positive blue and negative red umbras within a penumbral region. Be sure not to mistake surface plagues with umbral magnetics. It's the dark sunspots that are the interactive features. If that group up north develops, it is set up to be magnetically complex from the get-go. Now, one of yesterday's flares released a significant CME in Earth's direction. It is difficult to catch here on LASCO C2 unless you switch to the gray view that Cactus uses. Should be able to see a minimal halo effect, that CME mostly heading left. NASA's Enlil spiral does show Earth impact, while NOAA's Enlil shows a possible glancing blow. Our own eyes should make us side with NASA on this one. The other eruptions are pretty but not geo-effective, including that one down south. The coronal magnetic fields went a bit berserk yesterday, have an Earth-facing opening up to the north, but which never got beyond medium power levels. Had a couple quakes in rare locations. First part of that watch peaked last Friday. These mid-watch lulls have become as reliable as the quake upticks themselves, and we had it over the weekend. Stronger space weather expected, and the planets are lining up, so here we go. Lockheed a bit backlogged on HelioViewer. Eyes open. No fear. It's 6:55 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
Alright, very good. Good report. Alright, Aaron Russo. So yesterday you got a little introduction who Aaron Russo was. And Aaron Russo passed away a couple years ago, but he leaves behind quite a legacy in film. And this piece here, yesterday you saw a bit of an interview. Today, what I want to get to is he did a piece when he was running for political office called Mad as Hell. This is the first of 11 parts here. I'm going to play this because this is pretty darn good. And what he has to say is, well, this was years ago. If we would have only listened to what people like he had to say back then, imagine where we'd be now. Here we go.
I was born a fighter, a scrappy little kid on a Brooklyn block. I bobbed and weaved my way through life as I stood up against the neighborhood bullies. I always hated bullies. There wasn't a dare I wouldn't take on. As I grew older, I learned from the streets. I had a knack for the ladies, a strong right arm, and a love for rock and roll. I opened a Chicago nightclub and booked big-name bands like the Grateful Dead, Led Zeppelin, and The Who. During the '68 convention in Chicago, I watched firsthand as the government raged out of control. I managed Bette Midler, founded the Manhattan Transfer, and was fortunate enough to win an Emmy, a Tony, and my films received 6 Academy Award nominations. I produced Trading Places, The Rose, and Wise Guys. But today, I am standing in front of the camera to fight for the rights of all Americans. Because today, I am frightened for the future of the country I love.
Ladies and gentlemen, mad as hell, Mr. Aaron Russo.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mad as Hell. I'm here tonight because I'm sick and tired of what's happening to my country. I'm fed up, and I feel an overwhelming need to shine a light on, to illuminate our country's problems. And the most fundamental problem we have in America is that it is no longer a free country. And it is fast becoming a totalitarian state. I know those are strong words, but they're true nonetheless. Let me illustrate. Imagine you're calmly driving along in your car, minding your own business, obeying all the traffic laws. And all of a sudden, in your rearview mirror, you see a police car coming up behind you. How does that make you feel? Safe and secure? Or uncomfortable? Let me see a show of hands for uncomfortable. Amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. See, I remember being taught in high school that America was different because it was founded on the principle of liberty. That means nobody can make you do things against your will, including the government. And government's function was to protect that liberty. Everybody stand up. Stand up. I want you all to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
Stop. Sit down. And to the republic for which it stands. It doesn't say, and to the democracy for which it stands, and to the republic for which it stands. America was founded as a constitutional republic with some democratic principles. A republic is where 99% of the people can't take away the rights of 1%. And that's why America was called a free country. Your rights were guaranteed and absolute. Do you hear our elected representatives telling you our country is a republic? No! In a democracy, 51%, the majority, can take away the rights of 49%, the minority. That's not freedom. Who's ever in office determines what rights you have. Like a ping pong ball, bouncing back and forth, back and forth. One says abortion's legal, one says it's not. One says gun control, another says no. Taxes are too high, taxes are too low. Balance the budget in 7 years, 5 years, 9 years, 3 years, 1 year, 18 years. Affirmative action, no affirmative action. Speed limit 55, 75, it's safer, it's not safer. It's insanity! This creates a deep and dark division in America. Left versus right. Rich versus poor. Gender versus gender. That means man versus woman. What we need is a set of principles to live by, no matter who's in office. And we have it. It's here. It's called the Constitution. Restore it. Don't ignore it. People often ask me, Aaron, are you a liberal or a conservative? A Democrat or a Republican? Those are just labels. The right question is, Aaron, are you free? Are you free? No. Are you free? No. Are you free? No. Government is the problem, not the solution. A big centralized government, like ours has become, manipulates us into strict obedience in the name of some contrived greater good. Social engineering. That makes me want to puke. Because that's the big lie. That concept is the basis for the destruction of America. It is the antithesis of everything we stand for. There is no greater good than each of us being free. That is the ultimate good. Instead, we have federal agencies with massive police powers. They just gave the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms 13 ground attack jets, armed with Sidewinder missiles. What are they going to do? Go on airstrike on French smoke shop? That's why my grandparents left Europe, to come here, to get away from governments who forced them into obedience. But now, here has become there. You have any music for me? Enough of that.
Good stuff, right? So as you could see, the same issues that we're dealing with now have been going on for a while. Okay, Aaron was noticing this. People of the, and this wasn't too long ago. This was in the 70s, 80s. They were noticing these things were going wrong. And now, all these years have gone by, they've just escalated even more. They've gotten even worse. So, it's too bad, but we can fix things. We can fix things. Anyway, that's Aaron Russo. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. I have 6 sightings today. Sighting number 1 comes to us from Buenos Aires on the 24th. This is new amazing video footage of a strange UFO recorded in the daytime above Buenos Aires. Okay. This is our object in question here. It's almost a 6-minute long video. Okay, let me just zip over here. See our object. There it is. Looks like something floating. Obviously. Not quite sure what that is. If that's a UFO or if that's a piece of paper. This was captured. Alright, moving on from there. Next we go over above Colorado. As you can see, we've got some night vision going on here. Alright, we're going to look up here and we're going to, that's the moon, and I got plenty of stars. Alright. Actually, this is not the moon. This is the object in question that is he's following. Alright. So there you go. Links available. Check it out. Next, we're going to go over to New Mexico. And this is UFO flash of different colors over Albuquerque. There we go. Many different colors there. I'm from the East Coast, Connecticut, visiting a childhood friend in Albuquerque. After finishing dinner at the P.F. Chang's restaurant, my friend and I headed to the parking lot when my friend noticed a very bright light hovering in the sky over the general area above the roof of the hotel in the same parking lot. We stood for about a minute or two debating what we were looking at. Since when focusing on the 2 points at the hotels, the lights wasn't moving, we decided to get in the car and to head southwestern direction of the light outside the city limits where the light pollution was less. It was odd because it was hazy, some cloud covering the night sky, and so the stars weren't many, and the ones that were visible in this parking lot weren't that bright. So the light dominated the sky even in the well-lit parking lot and was rather big and round in appearance. We noted the time. The car clock was 7:58 p.m. when we got in the car. We headed up Paso del Norte Road heading west in my friend's car. As my friend was driving, we noticed planes in the sky that were distantly smaller, had the typical red and blue blinking lights, and less bright than the light which appeared stationary and unwavering in the night sky. As my friend drove her car, I kept my eye on the light so as not to lose its orientation in the sky. Planes appeared to fly around the bright light, but it was not the planes in the foreground and background that made it clear this wasn't a plane, and the planes moved, the light did not. We stopped at a sharp curve in the road, which is the perimeter of the local airfield. There are no streetlights at this point, and the area is considered behind the volcanoes, which I guess means something that if you're in this area. The photos I took are not really good. They're from my Panasonic. Okay, so these are the objects right there. Not too bad. Not too bad objects, but very interesting looking things in the sky. Moving on, next we go to southeast Michigan on the 27th. It says I live in a rural part of southeast Michigan and saw this object near my home in the night sky of the 27th. I followed it down a dirt road and finally ended up in a field crop. Once I got out of the vehicle, it started moving towards me. So I ran for a bit. It was making a slow sounding weird noise and had a beam shining on my vehicle for a while. Okay. Right, let's move on from this one. Next one here over Fort Ogden, Florida on the 27th. There's our object in question. Witness says we were up in our balcony when we looked at the ball of light that was almost there every night and noticed it changed to what looked like 3 lights, then again turned vertical and red and had a nucleus appearance to the number of lights like a pillar of orb, but the red lights spinning around it like an atom symbol. It was very strange. We had a perfect view of it through the binoculars and got a pretty good shot of it with the video camera. Again, this is the object in question, and we don't have it right at the moment yet, so I'm going to jump over here to this one here. This is Vatican hides alien information from the public. In May 2008, Funes gave an interview to the Vatican L'Osservatore Romano newspaper saying that the existence of intelligent extraterrestrials posed no problems to Catholic theology. The conference itself was officially convened by the Vatican's Pontifical Academy of Sciences, chaired by its religious leader, Bishop Marcelo Sanchez Sordano, and it was held in the private Vatican grounds from the 6th to the 10th of November. Together with Funes' 2008 interview and subsequent public comments by him, the conference demonstrates a welcome openness by the Vatican to the possibility and implication of extraterrestrial life. The Vatican's openness to the discussion of extraterrestrial life is no accident. It is part of an openness policy secretly adopted by the UN in 2008 of February. In fact, the Vatican is playing a leading role in preparing the world for extraterrestrial disclosure. We have a nice video here. It's just about 20 minutes in length. Aliens in the Vatican. The link will be there for you to check it out. And let's go back over here to this. There's our object in question. This is the sighting above Fort Ogden, Florida. You can certainly see. Very interesting. Alright, that's our UFO news for today. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth. People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
Alright, moving along. So, we hear Aaron was talking about the problems we face in the world today. We've been dealing with these problems for quite some time. They've escalated because from one president to the next, they put in policies that helps the next guy out. Now, we still get caught up in the situation of the right and the left. Are you Republican or Democrat? And that screws things up because they're like two sheepdog, and they just guiding everybody straight ahead to where they want them to go. So it doesn't matter if you're right or left. You're just being pushed by a sheepdog. You're being pushed forward by the agenda that those behind the government has, which in this case would be the Federal Reserve, the shadow government that's behind the scenes. So we have these policies now that are put out. We look at the administrations. We want to blame them for them. Certainly they are complicit with what goes on, but we have to understand that the buck doesn't stop with them, that there's somebody else beyond them. That's why we have a character like Obama who seems to be so clueless, because he doesn't really make any decisions. He acts like he does. He plays a big game letting you know that he's making this decision, that he has this authority to do this. In reality, he doesn't have any authority to do any of that. He's just, like he's been along the way, stretching the truth. So here's a piece that is being discovered. Many people have known this was going to happen and have put the warnings out, but a lot of people didn't quite heed the warnings or believe this. Is it possible that things really can get worse for supporters of Obamacare? The president's signature accomplishment, the law that was voted through by only Democrats during a lame duck session of Congress? Decide for yourself. On Monday, White House spokesman Jay Carney admitted the law is killing off health insurance policies that Americans currently hold. And NBC reported that the administration knew that this would happen as long as 3 years ago. At least 2 different investigations are being launched by Congress. A commentary showed that even papers sign-up process, the Obamacare doesn't work, and Alaska simply gave up, canceling sign-ups because virtually no one was participating. Carney's comments came in response to a question from journalist Ed Henry. He asked, "The president, when he was trying to get the law passed, repeatedly said, if you currently have health insurance, you'll be able to keep your plan." This morning, David Axelrod was pressed on that point and said, the vast majority, will be able to keep their plans. He no longer works at the White House. From the podium, you will admit that when the president said if you have a plan, you get to keep it, that was not true. After some throat clearing, Carney said, "So it's true that there are existing health care plans on the individual market that do not meet those minimum standards and therefore do not qualify for the Affordable Care Act." But Jay, people were told all around this country that it was free. There's people all around this country, Jay, who heard you and the president say that Obamacare was free. What do you mean that there's some that aren't going to get accepted, Jay? You see, people know this. People have known what's been going on. Those of you who supported Obama, just look to those who don't and refer to all the times that they said this Obamacare wasn't going to work and the reasons why. Actually, refer to the alternative media news sources because they've been out there talking about this for a long while. So it's sad that it's taken so long for so many individuals to get to the point. You see, in some ways here in America, we have such intelligence available to us, but it seems like we don't really use it. It seems like we put ourselves in these positions where the majority of the people want to believe the lies, despite the fact they've been lied to over and over again. I don't know why, but it doesn't seem like it makes for America being able to say that we are such a smart country when we do such stupid things and may have such stupid decisions. I know not everybody does, but there's a lot of people that are, and you know who they are, and you know what's going on out there. It's kind of crazy and shameful that all that is happening, but it is. All right, so what I want to do now is I got this piece here I want to play for you directly in regards to Obamacare. And it is called Why Obamacare is Not a Train Wreck. Okay, I know that we all are aware that it is, but he goes even further to state that it's not a train wreck, it's an intentional suicide attempt. This piece is just about 8 minutes in length. I posted this on the Facebook page. I want to play this today because in light of everything that's going on, it makes a lot of sense here. Listen to this.
Hi, I'm Wayne Allen, Root for Personal Liberty. There are two major political parties in America, and I'm a member of the naive, stupid, and cowardly one. I'm a Republican. How stupid is the GOP? They still don't get it. I told them 5 years ago, 2 books ago, a national bestseller ago, The Ultimate Obama Survival Guide, and in hundreds of articles and commentaries, that Obamacare was never meant to help America or heal the sick or lower health care costs or lower the debt or expand the economy. The GOP needs to stop calling Obamacare a train wreck. What that indicates is it's a mistake or an accident. That means it's a gigantic flop or a failure, and it's not. This is a brilliant and purposeful attempt to damage the U.S. economy, kill jobs, and bring down capitalism. It's not a failure. It's Obama's grand success. It's not a train wreck. Obamacare is a suicide attack. Obama's hero and mentor was Saul Alinsky, a radical Marxist intent on destroying capitalism. Alinsky's stated advice was to call the other guy a terrorist to hide your own terrorism, to scream the other guy's ruining America, well, you're the one actually plotting the destruction of America, to claim again and again in every sentence of every speech that you are saving the middle class, well, you're the one busy wiping out the middle class. The GOP is so stupid they can't see it. There are no mistakes here. This is a suicide attack. The telltale sign isn't the disastrous start of Obamacare or the devastating effect the new taxes of Obamacare are having on the economy or the death of full-time jobs because of Obamacare or the overwhelming debt or the dramatic increase in health insurance rates or the 70% of doctors now thinking of retiring, bringing on a healthcare crisis of unimaginable proportions. Forget all that. The real sign that this is a purposeful terrorist attack upon capitalism is how many Obama administration members and Democratic congressmen and women are openly calling Tea Party Republicans and anyone who wants to stop or defund Obamacare terrorists. That's the clue. Even the clueless GOP should be able to see that. They're calling the reasonable people, the patriots, the people who believe in the Constitution, the people who believe exactly what the Founding Fathers believe, the people who want to take the power away from corrupt politicians who have put America $17 trillion in debt, terrorists. They think those are the terrorists. And that's because they're Saul Alinsky and the GOP. The real terrorists, the real murderers of the middle class, the real job killers, the real bad guys trying to bring down capitalism are calling the patriots by a terrible name to fool, confuse, and distract the public. They're Saul Alinsky, the public. Obamacare is a raving, rollicking, fantastic success. Stop calling it a failure. Here's what it was created to do, and it's succeeding on all counts. Number one, Obamacare was intended to bring about the Marxist dream, redistribution of wealth. Rich people, small business owners, and the middle class are being robbed so that the money can be redistributed to poor people who vote Democrat. Think about it. If you're rich or middle class, you now have to pay for your own health care costs at much higher rates and 40 million other people's costs too through massive tax increases. So you're stuck paying for both bills. You're left broke. Brilliant. Success. Number two, Obamacare was intended to wipe out the middle class and make them dependent on government. Think about it. Even Obama's IRS predicts that health insurance for a typical American family by 2016 will be $20,000 a year. That's just the average. That means many of us will pay more than $20,000 a year. But how would middle-class Americans pay that bill and have anything left for food or housing or living? People that make $40,000 or $50,000 or $60,000 a year can't possibly hope to spend $20,000 on health insurance without becoming homeless. Bingo. That's how you wipe out the middle class and turn all of America into welfare queens. That's how you make middle-class people dependent on government. That's how you make everyone addicted to getting checks from Big Brother. Brilliant. As a bonus to wiping out the middle class, Obamacare is intended to kill every decent-paying job in the economy, creating only crummy, crappy part-time jobs. Why? Just to make sure the middle class is trapped with no way out. Just to make sure no one has the $20,000 per year to pay for health insurance, thereby guaranteeing they become wards of the state. Brilliant. Number four, Obamacare is intended to bankrupt small business and therefore starve donations to the GOP. Think about it. Do you know a small business owner? I know hundreds of them. Their rates are being doubled, tripled, and quadrupled by Obamacare. Between the dramatically higher health care costs, higher taxes, mounds of new regulations under Obama, IRS attacks on small business under Obama, the dying economy lowering their revenues under Obama, and the higher inflation on everything we buy, even though the government claims there is no inflation, small business is being forced out of business. This isn't a mistake, it's a plan. Guess who writes 75% of the checks to Republican candidates and conservative causes? Small business. Even if a small business owner manages to survive, he or she certainly can't write a big check to the GOP anymore. Money is the mother's milk of politics. Without donations, a political party ceases to exist. Bingo. That's the point of Obamacare. Obama's bankrupting his political opposition and drying up donations to the GOP. Brilliant. Number five, Obamacare is intended to make the IRS all-powerful. It adds thousands of new IRS agents. It puts the IRS in charge of overseeing 15% of the U.S. economy. Their government employees union gets rich and powerful. The IRS has the right, because of Obamacare, to snoop into every aspect of your life, to go into your bank accounts, to fine you, to imprison you, to frighten you, to intimidate you, and Obama and his socialist cabal have access to your deepest medical secrets. By law, your doctor has to ask your sexual history. That information is now in the hands of Obama and the IRS to blackmail potential Republican and conservative candidates into either not running or supporting big government or leaking the information and ruining your campaign. Or have you forgotten the IRS harassed, intimidated, and persecuted critics of Obama and the GOP in Obama's first term? Bingo. That is the point of Obamacare. Number six, Obamacare is intended to unionize 15 million healthcare workers. That produces $15 billion in new union dues. All of that goes to fund Democratic candidates and socialist causes, thereby guaranteeing Obama's friends never lose another election, and Obama's policies keep ruining capitalism and bankrupting business owners long after he's out of office. Message to the GOP. This isn't a game. This isn't politics. This isn't even tiddlywinks. This is a serious, purposeful attempt to hijack America and destroy capitalism. This isn't a train wreck. It's a suicide attack. Obama knows exactly what he's doing. Stop apologizing and start fighting. Oh, and one more thing. Conservatives aren't terrorists. We are patriots and saviors of this great country. We represent the Constitution and the Founding Fathers. We are the heroes and the good guys. Unless you get all of this through your thick skulls, America is lost forever. We are George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and John Adams and Benjamin Franklin. I'm Wayne Alaroot for Personal Liberty. See you next week, same time, same place. God bless America. and save us from this purposeful suicide attack upon America called Obamacare.
Okay, now, good piece. I want to go a step further, though, because there's one further problem. I do believe this was a definite, purposeful attack on the people. However, Obama got into power because there were those of the GOP, the Republican Party, that allowed that to happen. This just doesn't happen. He didn't just rise to power and got put in and nobody knew. So it's great to think that the GOP are going to do something about this, but they're part of the problem. Okay? The reason Obama is doing the things he's doing is because the president before, a Republican, George Bush, signed the Patriot Act. So yes, people can say that there are problems that George Bush created, which are still causing problems now, and they're right. But Obama's been in office for more than one term. It's like saying in a football game that you blame the quarterback who played 2 games ago for why you lost today. You can't do that, okay? Obama's the guy in office right now. He has to stop blaming, but this guy doesn't take responsibility. So the easy thing to do is keep blaming others, keep pointing the fingers. They're all the bad guys. Republicans and Democrats, they're just pushing you closer to where they want you to go. And this is just part of the case. So don't think that the Republicans didn't have anything to do with this, because there are those in office who know very well about Obama's record, about his background, about who he is, about what he's doing, and they seem to side with him very well. Okay? So in America, we really have been shanghaied. And it's silly, and I have issue anymore having conversations with people who are still so supportive of this stupidity that's out there. Okay, we've learned enough. I know you've learned enough. I'm sure you're tired of it as well, still having people that want to support this. You know, it's very telling. Remember, what was it, Friday I did Luke or Mark chapter 13, and when Jesus was describing what's going on in the world and the changes at the end of times, very telling that the phrase used is the abomination of desolation. So for the second time in in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, we have the translation from Jesus that was Satan Barack Hussein Obama, or Barack Obama, and then we have this one now where he uses the phrase abomination of desolation. What a coincidence, the president in office is named Obama and people use the phrase abomination. Just another coincidence to show that the signs have been there for a long while, and there have been those paying attention to the signs. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, many have not. All right, switching gears. I wanted to go back and I want to revisit, and we'll do this a couple times over the course of this week yet. I wanted to revisit this article here on the Merkabah, because this is a very important piece here. Okay? So what I'm actually want to get into is I want to get into the workings of it and the breathing aspect of it, because there's several different parts to get down first, okay? So we want to get to breathing. So first thing we want to do is we want to visualize this symbol. Let's get this symbol here, okay? And what you're going to visualize is you're going to visualize yourself in the center of this, ultimately, in the center of this symbol here. And during the course of the breathing exercise, there's going to be breathing that's going to be done. And when the breathing, you inhale first, hold that, and you exhale for 7 seconds. And on the exhale, you imagine that you're pushing this top triangle here downward. Okay? And as a matter of fact, just before you push it down, you take your eyes and you look up, and then you, at the same time, exhale as you move your eyes down and imagine pushing this energy down. Okay? And then you go and do it again. And then the one other step that you're doing with this is with each breath, you're changing your finger pattern. So the first breath, and each one of these breaths are 7-second breaths, okay? So when you do the breath, you're going to do the first breath, you're going to have these 2 fingers right here, just together, and you're going to do the inhale, and then you're going to exhale for 7 seconds. 2, okay? And you're going to exhale for 7 seconds, and when you exhale, on the inhale, imagine yourself looking up, and on the exhale, you're going to imagine bringing your eyes down, all the way down, as if you're following a line, and you want to imagine this triangle here, this top triangle right here, pushing downward. So this point is being pushed down into the ground. Okay? And then you're going to repeat it again. But next time, you're going to go and you're going to do the second breath. You're going to do these two fingers. And you're going to do the same thing. Inhale, hold for 5 seconds, exhale for 7. And on the exhale, bring the eyes and look down as you imagine the energy going down. And then you're going to do it a third time. Third time, now you're going to do these two fingers. And you're going to inhale, up. We're going to look down as you imagine bringing the energy down. And you're going to send that triangle down. And then you're going to do it again a fourth time. And this time, the last two fingers. Okay? Same thing. Inhale, hold for 5 seconds, exhale for 7. And as you exhale, imagine, bringing your eyes down and imagine seeing that top triangle with that point going into the ground. And then you're going to do it again. Back up to here, to the first one again. So altogether, as you could see here, you're going to do a series of 6 breaths. Okay? So the first breath here is the first two fingers. Then we go to the second finger, the third finger, the little finger, and then back to the first one again, and then the second one. All together with these. Okay? And as you're doing this, what you're wanting to imagine around yourself as this energy is going around you, you want to imagine 3 of these different tetrahedrons around you. Okay? One of them comes from your emotional body, one comes from your mental body, and one is around your physical body. So you're going to have one of them, tells us right here, it says the mental body spins to the left, the emotional body to the right, and the field for the body remains stationary. So at the same time you're doing those breathings, and once you complete all those, go through all that cycle and get that air going in you, you have one of these triangles is going to the left or counterclockwise, one's going to the right clockwise, and one is staying stationary. And what you're doing through this process is you're creating this Merkabah around you. Okay? You've got the one energy spinning one way, you've got the other way, and one stationary. And you're right in the middle, and you've used your breath to be able to go through all of the chakras, to cleanse your body, to fill it with this energy. And that's the first step. Okay? So this is the first part of this. Tomorrow we'll get into part 2, discuss it a little bit more, but I wanted to go over this today because there's a lot of information. I just wanted to make sure that we all really understood the process here. Okay? So we got 6 breaths, imagining this around, pushing the triangle down, up, energizing ourselves within the middle. Okay? The article's available, so you can read that. Let me move on to the next piece. This is also about energy. This article here is about Orgone Energy. It says the term Orgone derives from Orgone, term provided by William Reich for the essential energy discovered throughout nature, also known as chi, prana, ether, elan vital, or the fifth element. This vital energy consists in an organic way with a variety of types. It can be neutral, positive, or damaging. When positive, enables living microorganisms to be found in healthy condition. Reich did a great deal of research on the attributes of the behaviors surrounding this subtle energy. Reich constructed a powerful orgone accumulator from alternate levels of mental as well as organic material. He built a fabulous cloud buster with which he could cause it to rain, and he witnessed how orgone energy was capable to counteract nuclear radiation. He died during his jail after experiencing his laboratory and much of his written work incinerated by the government bodies who feared that knowledge of his energy could possibly reveal. Okay, so very interesting. A lot more to this article here. But again, great energy was discovered, and government agencies don't want that to happen because these energies free you up. Okay, that's what's going on here. They're freeing you up. And the reason we do these energy exercises is to be able to take ourselves out of this physical prison that we're in and to free ourselves up and learn how to do it more and more so we can get ourselves out of the place that we're in. Because even though we live in this physical world, we're bound by laws and rules that are dealing with other dimensional realities. The physical reality, there's the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. So we need to be aware in all these different levels. And whatever challenges are taking place, aren't all happening on the physical level. So we need to be able to go to that other level, especially if you think of the idea of a spiritual warrior. Spiritual warrior battles on the spiritual plane. It's not all about the physical. And in order to move through the challenges we're going through and move through this time, we need to be able to pay attention and really have access to those other planes of reality other than the physical. All right, here's our message today from Halayaran. This is channeled message. Here we go.
Hilarian's Weekly Message 2013.
October 27th to November 3rd, 2013.
Hilarian.
Beloved ones, the world around you is filled with many distractions that demand your attention and focus. It is very easy to get caught up in the polarity games as they play out, and it is important for the light bearers to hold their ground. As you have already experienced many times, the headlines in your news medias are generated to attract followers. Remember that where you put your thoughts and focus is what in turn, you will bring into manifestation. It is advisable to keep your thoughts and focus on what you want to experience in your personal world rather than that which is dissolving and disintegrating in the higher frequencies. The old world paradigms are no longer working, even though there is a frenzied effort to bring them back. This message asks you to make a concerted effort to radiate your light through your individual methods of application with great determination and intent. Picture the planet surrounded by a golden white light that shines out into the universe. Envision your own light radiating and expanding into your sphere of influence with great love and intensity. Humanity as a whole must move beyond their own individual concerns to a focus of that which is for the greater good for all. Begin to ask yourselves what your higher self or Christ self would do in the situations that confront you. You must be the light, and if in your personal challenges, you slip back into reaction rather than a loving response, forgive yourselves and others and continue to practice your daily disciplines. Each moment is another opportunity to regroup and renew your focus on your role as light bearers. The changes taking place demand flexibility and adaptability and the letting go of previous expectations that are no longer viable on the path that you have chosen to walk. You must do your utmost to stay firmly on it. There are daily temptations to take you away from it, and it might be helpful to write out your objectives and daily plan as a light bearer on this planet so that you can refer to them for renewal of your focus when the way seems clouded or confused. The energies continue to accelerate humanity's awakening into new perceptions and perspectives which create initial discord within them as the awakening to the truth on life on Earth as it has been permeates their consciousness. The initial awakening brings some discomfort but ultimately frees each individual to move beyond illusions of the past and see how things really have been in the world. The underlying theme as you move into the next month is dedicated focus on the light. By doing this you are doing more than you can consciously know and comprehend, but be assured that your higher aspects are well aware of the need. You are all learning to be the masters of life upon this planet, by using your thoughts, words, and deeds in daily dedication and focus. To be masters at anything, one must be persistent and consistent in one's efforts to become that. You have all the tools at your disposal, and all that is required is the knowledge and understanding that this is how you make a difference in your world, for yourselves and your loved ones. The forces of light upon this world are quietly doing their work and are mostly unrecognized for their contribution to the greater good for all. They work in anonymity so that they can do their work without great resistance from those who would oppose them. By their deeds and dedication, they are catalysts for bringing more light into the world and thereby igniting and enabling the freeing of the shackles that have held humanity hostage in the lower vibrations of this world for far too long. Each effort that each light bearer makes is magnified by those from the higher realms and dimensions. You are never alone in your efforts to bring the planet and humanity into the higher dimensions. It is a unified effort that is always supported at this level. Until next week. I am Hilarion.
Alright, nice message from Hilarion. And our angel message for today. The angel message is love heals. Remember this when you feel challenged by what is happening around you. Bring love into any situation and ask for help. Good advice, because love truly does heal, and that's what it's for. To heal us, make us better. Alright, let's get to our meditation today. So, what I'd like to do is let's go ahead And let us begin to activate the Merkabah. So go ahead and take your thumb and your first finger and connect them together in each hand. And you're going to take a deep breath. And you're going to hold it for 5 seconds. 4. And exhale for 7. Now, we're going to take another deep breath. This time, we're going to go back to the same thing again. Same finger. This time, now that we have the breath down, let's go ahead and take the breath. And as we inhale, take your eyes and move your eyes so you're looking up towards the point of this triangle over your head. Look up. Hold for 5 seconds. And as we exhale, bring your eyes down and imagine this triangle pushing down so the point of the triangle in the ground is going down. And exhale on the count of 7. Okay. Now take another breath, but this time go ahead and switch over to the second finger, your thumb and your second finger, and inhale. Look up. Hold 5 seconds. And bring your eyes down, watching the triangle move down, sending the point down into the ground as you exhale on a count of 7. Okay, switch fingers to the third finger now. Thumb and the third finger, inhale. Looking up towards the point. Hold. And exhale and bring your eyes down and follow as the triangle moves down into the ground. Okay, switch to the little finger now. Inhale, eyes looking up, hold. And exhale, bring your eyes down following the triangle as the point goes down into the ground. Switch back to the first finger again, inhale again. Eyes looking up. Hold. Exhale. Follow your eyes down, watching the triangle point go down to the ground. And one more. Switch over to the second finger and inhale. And exhale, bring your eyes down, watching the triangle move down. And now just feel all of these breaths moving through your body. And I want you to imagine that there is one of these Merkabahs around your body, and these triangles. You have one that is moving to the left in a counterclockwise direction around you, one that is moving around the right, and one that is stationary. And just imagine these energies, the geometric patterns moving around you, and you are seated right in the middle. And just feel that. Now from this place, let's just imagine from the heart chakra sending out love into the world. Sending love into the world. Imagine the whole world bathed in love. And let's just hold that thought for the day of bathing the planet in love. Let's imagine now we're going to close this Merkabah. So let's bring all of our energy back into our chakras. Let's see the Merkabah slowly dissipate as the energy from the top and the bottom moves slowly. And all the energy moves back to your heart space. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. There you have it. So we'll work on this more and more. We'll work on this meditation so that we can keep practicing and building this Merkabah around ourselves. Today was just a start. And there you have it. That's it today, my friends. That's our show. Thanks for being here. Just keep on doing good in the world, all right? I know there's a lot of challenges, but we're going to make it through. We always do. And time will keep on moving on. All right? I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.